We should try the oming for the baby. So welcome everybody. Thanks for coming this evening. So happy you're here. We have Khenpo Yeshi with us here tonight, and I'm so happy to welcome him here to Texas. It's his first visit. So I'm glad for you all to be here with us. And Khenpo Yeshi is just an esteemed scholar, and it's rare to have a teacher that is a scholar but also a practitioner, and that has this direct experience in meditation, so he can really guide us based on the texts and then also based on his own experience. And I found that he's really good with beginning meditators and, seasoned meditators, all levels, and just really engaging, and I'm really happy that you're here, Khenpo. So welcome.
Thank you so much. To wear many things. Sounds okay? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Claudia, letting us share some thoughts, and also thank you so much, Elizabeth, bringing me all the way from Houston. So this is the first time in Texas, and also, of course, that means first time here, and then, of course, first time in these wonderful places. Some echoes in?
I think it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds good. We can hear you.
Okay. It's sometimes a little bit difficult to start with what to say. And please raise your hand if there's anything that you want, because my English is not my first language, so that's not a problem. And if you have any any clarification, I will try and raise hand. This event is sort of what I understand is kind of mix, a little bit teaching, a little bit sort of practice, or sit down and meditation. I'm sure some of you much more senior than me, but maybe some of you may want to hear some techniques or some ideas, some informations that may be flowing around, but you still didn't really get from a person that tried to practice. And hopefully I chant my lineage prayer, if you don't mind, first. If it's too loud, then our baby may be not too loud. Okay. Tu zum san je dan je jin no le dong jin ko jam zo jiao da ga ren su me tu je dan yin kam song ju je ja bo sha je ben mo do zhen ma me ba lan go ra de 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 go sung ge ba jin bo go chang zao xin jia zhen je wo je wa ne ce re jian chen wa tang je de ju to zhe wa jin bo go ne ju de ju xin ji la ba ran de de. If you have any lineage that you want to pray together, if not, then just think about your own nature. Mind is your guru. Tujin dama kune juren jiten som jin gong ja be tong pe ma me dang bo zhe jia wei nam zhou rong jiu lun jin zen za bei yi yu den zong ba wei ben mang jiu ne da lo ben zo rui zhong wei xin ji zhen geng xin jin sui bian jian zi jin gao ra gong xin zhou geng chen mo men ba sen zi lo zhu geng de nian de Go dang yi ji zhi ba mi gong qun ga lan zi ba gong jian ba xiu de geng de ga wei zo gi jiu. If you are musicians or your deity is Surasati, then the next, that one is Manjushri, but Xin Yi Deng Ge Xie Jin Se Gui Jian Zhu Jian Bei Yong Lan De Xin Yi Deng Ge Xie Jin Se Gui Jian Zhe Jin Gao Ra Gong Xin Zhou Geng Zhen Hu Men Ba Sen Ze Lo Zhu Geng De Nian De Go dang yi ji zhi ba mi gong qun ga lan zi ba kang jian ba de xiu de geng de ga wei zo ge jiu yin zhuo bei ma ga de wan zhen bei xia re le song wo zi de dong ge cha wai ning ge me zi de lo zhong jiu zi rui yong jian na ge ban mo da yi yong kang shi dong ga ren qi ning bong go re yo de geng jiong ga wei ji ning ge dong zai bei bei nan ji re chen me wei zi re xia jie da yi jiang qie zi re jia wei si bo xi wa la nang de re zhe bei hong jiu xia song bang jiu deng na rong zhe gu jing mi qi ji yong bo ge jia za ri dong jian ba re xiu nu xie la li gong bei dong de bo bei de ji zhu long bo jiu zi jiang cun a zang Bam jiang yong nam jia la ge jian za ya den song jie geng dong nian na yang gan zhen song jie geng de la bing za wei lan ma za la ge jia za dao song zhou wei lo na qiu lai jiu. Thank you, and this is a totally Buddhist style of teaching. Now I want to start is you don't have to really follow, but how I want to hear how Buddhist teaching would do if usually start with they call refuge to the Buddha Dharma Sangha, and then they call generate bodhicitta, which is arousing bodhicitta, or these two are sort of very core Buddhist practice, and also started with at that. So Buddha Dharma Sangha most excellent. I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may attain Buddhahood for the sake of other beings. So this, at least this motivation is important in the Buddhist teaching, that the practice is not only oneself but also for the others. And in that sense, the isolation of self is sort of an opening, and it's hearing not only the knowledge, but all the good deeds that you do can share with either your community, or you care about beings, or beyond that environment and sentient beings, and so forth. So that's sort of motivation is beginners. Our motivation is important, and then whatever you do yoga or meditation or music, healing others, anything that if you have a positive, sincere motivation, that's is positive thoughts that leads to more positive deeds and positive thinkings, and then supposedly it's very beneficial to our mental health and also spiritual path. And now I want to a little bit touch why Buddhists, or how Buddhists believe that self is sort of constructed, that imputed on, based on what we have. We have body and mind. Based on that, we create this. So that's why sort of suffering is not just there without reason, but suffering is rise based on how we think and how we constructed ourselves. So Buddhists emphasize on this a lot, because once we want to do overwhelmingly ourselves, it creates something that negative impact on the surrounding, because once everything's me, then it's less care about others. That's why caring neighbors and beyond society and so forth, that's we think very important. Of course, that everything is coming from first comes up in our thoughts, and then action leads, and then sort of verbal action and physical actions are first sort of come up in our thoughts, that construct based on what we mainly cherish ourself. I'm not saying we should not cherish, but I'm saying sometimes we cherish too much ourselves, then it has some sort of negative impact. Too much good thing there, and so somehow we need to not only reduce this busy life thinkings and of course social media and TV and all kind of life that we need to follow, and also of course then we need to modern life, we need to work and so forth. These somehow we need to reduce a little bit on that. That's why I guess we are doing yoga, meditation, and or musical therapies and so forth. These are very important. But the root of that, the busyness of our life is arising from our mind. Somehow we need to not only physically just exercise, but also need to reflect our mind and our nature. So some methods in Buddhist teachings give these teachings, but of course meditation is here, or Buddhist and Hindus, it doesn't matter, it's urgent, but it's, we know the mindfulness and these practice reduce stress and so forth. And to all of that, then we sometimes need to think about what we are doing, what content we are kind of producing, what kind of meditation we want to do, what meditation are more powerful than others. So there is, of course, tons of meditations, and where I come from, my lineage is called Nyingma, Tibetan ancient tradition. Ancient means sort of early, when the Indian text translated in Tibetan 7th, 8th century, that follows that translation is called the ancient tradition, Nyingma. And there is some method that's simple yet very powerful, and maybe today we can do a little bit that practice, and then let me know what do you think. Usually, traditionally, people need to train many years, and also follow maybe probably 3-year retreats, and a lot of teachings. Today seems a special day here, unexpectedly. So I could share if you don't mind. But in order to do that, I think we need to live the basic understanding of the nature. So trying to, we sort of want to know what nature, what's truth, would be less harmful, more beneficial. So nature or truth is very important to understand. Just as I said that Buddhists believe that self is sort of a fictional character that built based on our system. That's it's almost like a nature, but still doesn't necessarily mean it's correct. Even we think about ourselves. Since we're born until now, we think the same person. That's probably not true. There's a lot of changes, a lot of even maybe new cells form, old cells die, so there's not really continuity of it, but we still think ourselves as the same person. Like being born and until we die, we have the same self. And we also think that a person is the same person yesterday I was, and today I'm here as the same person. And that's why we have this long plan of I want to go to college and to graduate and to work and then retire and so forth. So all the plans are coming from wonderful plans, but sometimes, of course, plans are not really goes well as a plan. And then, of course, in our human life, we have all kind of problems arise, all kind of problems that the family problem, the society problem, and cultural problem, and marriage problem, and all kind of problems arise because that things that didn't expect it coming in this way due to we cherish ourself, the oneness of our self that's kind of planned in that way, and that plan maybe didn't goes in that direction. So, however, just think about your own nature. Mind is your guru. If you are musicians or your deity is Surasadit, and the next, that one is Manjushri, but Shini Danga Jijin Sekijin Sujambe Yong Shini Danga Jijin Sekijin Sejin Kora Gongshin Dokun Zem Woman Pasan Selo Rukundenyan Khenpo Yeshi Rinpoche Kalan Zeba Khan Jampara Shodan Kene Gawe Dzogchen Jo Yin Trope Makar Bonzon Beshar Leson Osra Dongge Chawai Nyinge Masra Lodun Jo Zore Yongjen Nage Balmo Da Ye Yong Kamsa Dongaren Jin Yin Bongo Yoden Kunjong Gawe Jis Nyingo Dongse Bebe Nanjirwa Cheme Zara Jabje Da Ye Yong Chedra Jarve Sebo Shivala Nandra Trape Onjo Sha Son Banjo Dana Ronjo Ngo Jingmi Chuji On Boroko Janza Ritung Jambara Shunu Shelali Gombe Zonde Bobe Derjeto Lampo Junze Janson Azanj Damjam Yonam Jala Gujanza Yoden Sonje Gundonyam Nayon Gandin Sonje Gunde Labin Tawela Manzala Gujanza Dawson Dovela Chula Jo. Thank you, and this is a totally Buddhist style of teaching. Now I want to start is you don't have to really follow, but how I want to share how Buddhist teaching would do if usually start with they call refuge to the Buddha Dharma Sangha, and then they call generate bodhicitta, which is arousing bodhicitta, or these two are sort of very core Buddhist practice, and also start with that. So Buddha and Dharma Sangha most excellent. I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may attain Buddhahood for the sake of other beings. So this, at least this motivation is important in the Buddhist teaching, that the practice is not only oneself but also for the others. In that sense, the isolation of self is sort of an opening, and it's hearing not only the knowledge, but all the good deeds that you do can share with either your community, or you care about beings, or beyond that environment and sentient beings, and so forth. So that's sort of motivation is beginners. Our motivation is important, and then whatever you do yoga or meditation or music, healing others, anything that if you have a positive, sincere motivation, that's it's positive thoughts that leads to more positive deeds and positive thinkings, and then supposedly it's very beneficial to our mental health and also spiritual path. And now I want to a little bit touch why Buddhists, or how Buddhists believe that self is sort of constructed, that imputed on, based on what we have. We have body and mind. Based on that, we created this. So that's why sort of suffering is not just there without reason, but suffering is rise based on how we think and how we constructed ourselves. So Buddhists emphasize on this a lot, because once we want to do overwhelmingly ourself, it creates something that negative impact on the surrounding, because once everything's me, then it's less care about others. That's why caring neighbors and beyond society and so forth, that's we think very important. Of course, that everything is coming from first comes up in our thoughts, and then action leads, and then sort of verbal action and physical actions are first sort of come up in our thoughts, that construct based on what we mainly cherish ourself. I'm not saying we should not cherish, but I'm saying sometimes we cherish too much ourselves, then it has some sort of negative impact. Too much good in there, and so somehow we need to not only reduce this busy life thinkings and of course social media and TV and all kind of life that we need to follow, and also of course then we need to more than life, we need to work and so forth. These somehow we need to reduce a little bit on that. That's why I guess we are doing yoga, meditation, and or musical therapies and so forth. These are very important. But the root of that, the busyness of our life is arising from our mind. Somehow we need to not only physically just exercise, but also need to reflect our mind and our nature. So some methods in Buddhist teachings give these teachings, and of course meditation is here, or Buddhist and Hindus, it doesn't matter, it's urgent, but it's, we know the mindfulness and these practice reduce stress and so forth. And on top of that, then we sometimes need to think about what we are doing, what content we are kind of producing, what kind of meditation we want to do, what meditation are more powerful than others. So there is, of course, tons of meditations, and where I come from, my lineage is called Nyingma, Tibetan ancient tradition. Ancient means sort of early, when the Indian text translated in Tibetan 7th, 8th century, that follows that translation is called the ancient tradition, Nyingma. And there is some method that's simple yet very powerful, and maybe today we can do a little bit that practice, and then let me know what do you think. Usually, traditionally, people need to train many years and also follow maybe probably 3-year retreats and a lot of teachings. Today seems a special day here, unexpectedly. So I could share if you don't mind. But in order to do that, I think we need to a little bit basic understanding of the nature. So trying to, we sort of want to know what nature, what's truth, would be less harmful, more beneficial. So nature or truth is very important to understand. Yes, I said that Buddhists believe that self is sort of a fictional character that built based on our system. That's it's almost like a nature, but still doesn't necessarily mean it's correct. Even we think about ourselves since we born until now, we think the same person. That's probably not true. There's a lot of changes, a lot of even maybe new cells form, old cells die, so there is not really continuity of it, but we still think ourselves as the same person. Like a baby born and until we die, we have the same self. And we also think that a person is the same person yesterday I was, and today I'm here as the same person. And that's why we have this long plan of I want to go to college and to graduate and to work and then retire and so forth. So all the plans are coming from wonderful plans, but sometimes, of course, plans are not really goes well as a plan, and then, of course, in our human life, we have all kind of problems arise, all kind of problems that the family problem, the society problem, and cultural problem, and marriage problem, and all kind of problems arise because that things that didn't expect it coming in this way due to we cherish ourself, the oneness of our self that's kind of planned in that way, and that plan maybe didn't goes in that direction. So, however, what we can do is more than we can look at our nature. What is our nature? Now I'm talking a little bit about Buddhist kind of theory that if you agreed, can try, but if you don't agree, don't worry about what is there. So try to narrow down, look at our mind, then we are sort of pinpointing what the source of problem is. Or this, we have sort of fictional characters we built, who we are, parents or someone give us a name, and we attach to that name, and whoever called me Yeshi, I thought that's me. So the name is also a label that's attached to us, and then people even attach to that name. So it's all surrounding us and ourself is more sort of fictional. That lead us to this fictional world, and that makes us quite sometimes troubled. That's why we need to look inwardly to see. Now we understanding of the conceptually understanding what the problem is, then we could look at the nature. So our mind is, we see now, as sort of creator or the main either solving the problem that can solve the problem or can create a problem. So now we sort of have choice to whether we use this mind to want to solve some problems that we want to solve, or we want to make more problems. times. Sort of that our choice. Then this conceptually arising, what we see, what we smell, what we interact with the people is a more, in a Buddhist way of introducing, is more like illusional, dreamlike life. It's the Buddhists believe that this helps because it reduces the intensity of anything, and also we are concretizing that everything is very, very real. Even some things, when we think about that is not more fictionally or dreamlike, and it reduces the intensity of those pains. So it's a way of reducing it. On top of that, then self is sort of this fictional character temporarily sort of created that, but we believe that is singular things continuously run through our life. And so if we understand self is less intense, then it reduces everything's me thing, and it opens others to add whether teachings or someone helps, or when you need it open your heart, and through that you also can help others because of that, and you want to connect it with others. The main thing is sort of this tradition, particularly my tradition, reduce everything to our mind. So we know mind is a very tricky thing, but we think about it, whether yesterday or today or tomorrow, it's still we need to think about 3 times. Means past means already past, so we cannot really chase that because it's gone. And the future means not yet to come and not here yet, so we don't really know what that would be. And the present moment is what we have. And that we don't need to think about chasing the past, whether glorious or not, but kind of whatever past events is already gone. And in the futures we have less planned, more action. And the present moment, we really need to look at that mind. Of course, looking at the mind is maybe everyone can do because what we have. But then we can think about what is the mind. So the mind is, now we say, if we think about 3 moments, the past moment is just past, and present moment, then future moment. So there is not really rarefied things we can pinpoint, because as soon as we look at the present moment, it's already gone. And there's not really this mind that is continuously running through 3 times. However, we know our mind has a cognitive function. We know what we are doing, and so that part is, in a Buddhist term, is called luminous or light. or wisdom, or whatever we want to call, and the disconnected past, present, and future. The present moment is, if this luminous, it must be in the present moment. That's what we have. And this power of cognitive function that we can utilize or we can think about, that sort of beginners, if advanced, then we also need to give up that part, but then we need to start with the present moment mind, which Buddhists describe that mind nature is Buddha nature. So, which means your your actual mind nature or essence of mind nature is already awakened. We all have that. It's no matter what color or shape or gender or age, or doesn't really matter. It's we all have that equal. And this mind nature is open. Yeah. Past and present and future, so the battery is done. But, already dead.
I can hear you.
Can hear?
Yeah.
But I can
Okay.
change up better.
Okay. So that's why it's a little bit, this tradition is a little bit different than mindfulness tradition that maybe many of you already done and you are kind of expert on it, but still, if you have a little bit of room for this tradition, is maybe you can just add a little bit and maybe helpful or not. We can discuss that. Thank you so much. Yeah. So that is a sort of main goal, because suffering is, sometimes we say, is kind of fictionally created self. That's why the selfness is based on delusion, and Buddhist thinking or introducing that ignorance is the cause of suffering and so forth. And the awakened part, or the reducing self, it's reducing the suffering. And that the mind nature, what just I'm talking about, is somehow need to only look at that nature, but we really need to understand that nature, because that nature has nature doesn't have this concept of my name is something, my neighbor is something, I need to go to Austin and I need to come here to hear meditation. So that temporarily arise is not nature. So nature of the mind is sort of beyond this concept. At the same time, it has cognitive function. That's called, in a Buddhist way of saying, empty yet luminous, or openness, and inclusive, pervasive, and so forth. So now we think we are individuals here, because that's how we construct, how we create karma and so forth. That's why it appears as like this. But in reality, there is no two minds. That the equalness, emptiness, luminous mind nature is equally pervaded to us. There would not be us, but there's one single nature of mind. And if we really, first of course we need to look at, understand, and then we need to look at that mind nature, and then we recognize it, then maybe it's millisecond, but it stops everything. You can extend from there, but it's not only you are looking, recognizing, but we need a little bit kind of understanding of the nature. Without that, then why I'm looking at my mind, why I'm doing meditation on our mind nature. So the nature of mind itself is all these delusional concepts or disappear or subside or purified. So that's why it is very important. Once you recognize or looking at your mind, then the dualistic concept is collapsed. So there, then you are looking at your mind by your mind nature. So that's why there's no room for concept or anything. This is quite advanced meditation, but somehow I thought I need to share it, so I don't know why, but if you want to try this, we can do that. And before that, maybe we discuss a little bit, and you have any questions, basics or advanced, we can do that, and then we can try a little bit, yeah. Maybe you want to sit this side? The sun side? Sun. It's okay.
You guys do look golden.
How many of you have you heard of or have tried this type of meditation, or even Buddha nature or mind nature? Okay. And have you heard Dzogchen before? The Great Perfection in English teachings?
Say it again. Say it again.
The Great Perfection?
The great perfection.
Yeah. Okay. In Tibetan we call Dzogchen. That these traditions that. So yeah, it's usually saying that everything perfected in our mind nature. So we don't need to say Buddhas out there, and we don't need to say deities or anything, but that doesn't necessarily mean you don't trust any external force, but mainly you are trusting in yourself. Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. Sometimes
It's hard to do.
it's difficult to believe oneself. Yeah.
Correct. Because we've been programmed to live on the outside.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now you're trying to reprogram yourself to live from the inside out. And you've got to learn how to do that.
Exactly. That's why the Buddhists start with this ignorant. What is ignorant? Ignorant means something we create that supposedly there would not have object and a subject, but we project all this world, and now we have more and more, and now we have all the technologies that
watching your thoughts, that you are going in with a thought about what is your nature? And how do you do that?
Yeah, exactly. The meditation, usually we look at our thought or thinking about our thoughts. There's a whole range of meditation. And so this meditation is sort of deconstructing our thought. Because our thought is even positive thought has some impact on because we have ideas that how society should act, how all these each one has they call ideas, yeah. Those ideas is not everyone's idea is different, therefore there is no one idea that is perfect idea. So all ideas are, I mean, we call there's good ideas, bad ideas, but mainly more interesting ideas, most of our. And so that's why we can see that there's no perfect ideas, because idea means plan something or wishfully thinking something. It's not real thing, it's just idea. Yeah, people want to fly without wings or airplane, but that's maybe idea, it's not real thing. And so these ideas these traditions need to reduce thoughts. In order to reduce thoughts, we need to thoughts, not really analyzing, but we sort of done analyze the thoughts, the past and present and future thoughts, but it's just looking at the nature. When we think about what we have is only our mind nature, then when we look at our mind, means our mind nature is looking up at our mind nature. And that there's no room for concepts. That's why it's so powerful. And that's we need to sort of believe in ourselves that we have that nature. We are not just empty rocks that floating around, but we are more sentient beings, have Buddha nature. And we don't need to think about I'm different types, I'm different gender, I have different age, so I don't have kind of Buddha nature. But it's not. Buddha nature is indiscriminately pervading ourselves. So we are not really different individual beings. We are just appears in the best way. Yeah.
That's hard. That's a very profound concept, and it's very challenging to get your focus from out here to all the way in here.
Yeah.
That's why it's a practice, right? That's why you have to practice all the time.
Yeah, practice and sort of believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in that, then it's difficult to build practice based on that, because practice means habituating, familiarizing. It's not something you create and then produce and then you live there. It's not like that. practice is more comes naturally, needs to comes naturally, and that takes time. The belief is very powerful too.
Belief, I think, is the biggest part of it. And me personally, I'll just share, I'm from a Christian background, and we're taught there's God and we're here and we're separate. And I know that's not true. And so, but that's how I've been raised, right? So I'm programmed to think that. So as I'm learning from different masters of spirituality, I'm realizing that no, I am that one God.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
That's profound, and that's hard to go, okay, let me just grab onto that. That is, wow. So maybe it's the belief part that's just, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe.
But you do have that knowing, right?
I know.
So you actually do believe it, you know it, right?
Right, but to grasp it with my mind,
Uh-huh.
my spirit knows it, but my mind is shy to take it on.
Yeah, accept that part. Yeah.
Accept it. Is
Yeah.
it fear? Is it?
I think yes, everything,
fear.
almost everything.
It's
Somehow when you accept everything as you, then you lose your identity. So that's fair.
Yeah.
And practice is not necessarily very comfortable with the beginning,
Sure.
but it's training
Correct.
process.
Right.
So somehow more powerful practices, the more kind of give discomfort, but it's not necessarily mean it's harmful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why
Right.
we try to practice, and I'm saying it's if these practice or these kind of teaching doesn't make sense to you, you don't need to worry about that either, because there is tons of teachings that you can look at different angle to see. Since today is sort of this nice place and the nice people, so I just want to hear the core teachings. If not, we can spend and discuss other places other subjects that we can discuss on. Yeah. So anyone done looking at your mind meditation? It's a little bit different than watching your thoughts to changing your thought patterns, but it's more naturally reducing your thoughts, at least even maybe millisecond, maybe you can amazingly can stop thought. What that makes you relax, I mean totally, it's because it has power. Our thoughts, all that's kind of intense closeness, is coming from thoughts and worries, anxious and anxiety, and all arise from there. Once you collapse that part, even a second, it gives not only the mental health, but health, and also spiritually, it opens our mind. If you have anything that believe in, or inside or outside, doesn't really matter, because inside is outside, outside is inside. So now on, You are not you, I'm not me. So it's a we. Yeah. And if you look at your mind, see your mind nature is seeing everyone's nature. It's not only yours. It's not isolated thing. If you see nature, then means nature is pervasive, and there's no limit of seeing. If you think about isolated individual's nature, then you are not expanding, you are not seeing the entire nature. So our mind nature has that power, and mainly you need to look in. Supposedly, if you have spiritually wanted to build some connection with the power, with external, internal, doesn't really matter. It helps. And if you don't have and just want to look at your mind, but don't kind of narrow your mind. It's kind of connected openness, and this will help. And of course, then loving kindness and compassion that imbues with our mind nature, luminous, and whenever you see everything's connected, then your compassion, loving kindness will arise naturally. So all this connected, and then we can try it a little bit, yeah? If you can cross leg, that's fine. If it's not comfortable, you don't have to, because this meditation is not fully requires any bodily kind of discomfort, things that you need to sit. But if you can, just sit, and mainly the big water break is need to be very, very strict if you can. Okay.
Anyone else need an extra blanket?
Anyone? If you need to lie down, please. Usually, sometimes we do outside, look at sky, blue sky, and kind of let go our thoughts. But here we are inside, so it's not like a mindful meditation that we sort of extend the sitting quietly and reflecting upon our mind, but this is more need to repetition. I would not say repeat, but remind you that you need to repeat, because when you look at our mind, we are so programmed and influenced by this program, we cannot really stop our thinking. So as soon as it stops, it will rise. So you need to keep looking at your mind nature repeatedly. And of course, if you can, don't move much. And breathe through your mouth, not just open a little bit your mouth. And if you are not comfortable with open eye, that's fine. But open eye is also fine. And need to relax your body. And of course, we are not chatting here, except me, but body, speech, and mind, they're called. Body needs relax, mind, the speech needs stop, and the mind, don't think past. Whatever happened, that already happened. Don't think in the future plans. Don't make any future plans at that moment. And don't even think about present moment. Just look at your mind. Usually say, as soon as you look at, you are seeing my nature. As soon as you are seeing it, it liberates everything. But if you are a beginner, maybe it's a little bit difficult to tell what happened not. But it's you don't need to worry about what's happening. What you can do is just usually this meditation is called, need to do this, your body should be like a corpse in a cemetery, it means not moving. Your speech is like a broken string of guitar, so would not make much, maybe no noise. And then your mind should be like cloudless sky, no pollution, no cloud, no rain, no. And often my teacher, guru, the method is you need to try to two eyes look at your backside. But that sometimes people, when I say that, people don't really understand what's going on. Can you say something? No? So we cannot really look at our back, yeah? But look inwardly means you're not just thinking inwardly, you are physically, you need to try to look inwardly. So means then if your eyes, this is outwardly, means this is inwardly. Inwardly then seems kind of we are looking here, yeah. So, yeah. This stops thinking. Yeah. When you do this, don't chase don't just interact with any sound, smell, taste, or appearance. Just disengage, because we can spend at least a few minutes to stop chasing external things or internal plans, external kind of force. And we are wasting a lot of time, so we don't need to constantly planning things, yeah. So you need to repeat. Don't just try to extend. When we try to stop thinking, thinking proliferates. It just need to naturally subside to look at our mind. So we will know you are good practitioners of maybe meditation and yoga and Tai Chi, Qi Gong. So that's good. You're taking care of your physical body, and then mental health is also important. So I hope this will help, or it doesn't necessarily mean this is only the method, but there's tons of, so you can try other things, and then if mentally you can build up some resistance, then that would be beneficial. And the core teaching is really then the loving kindness and compassion would be rise, and that makes you more relaxed, because intensity of anxious and anxiety, loneliness and depression, these are all connected with sort of closing, contracting ourself is isolation. So openness and luminous our mind, and we share that nature. So I don't know how much time I have, but if you want to share something, please share. That's what I can share today.
I have something to say.
Yes, please.
I can speak.
Okay.
Out of many years, I think 30-something years of meditating, that's the first formal meditation I've ever had with eyes open. It was pretty profound, because I was like, did I hear him wrong? Did he really want our eyes to stay open? And thankfully, leaned into it to experience what it was, and realized that I think innately all of us naturally do this. Because how many of us haven't at some point been asked by somebody, where did you go? Like we just get frozen in time, and then when someone asks you, where did you go? I don't have a response. I don't know. Were you thinking about something? I wasn't thinking about anything. And then how powerful, it just came to that realization that it's almost like a reset for ourselves. That we naturally probably do it, and it's a reset, like maybe all of a sudden anxiety has reached its peak, and you just needed that to just, and I know I literally have gone nowhere.
Don't know.
And, yeah, right, and then all of a sudden I come back and I'm like, oh, here I am, and yet feel so much better.
Exactly, it's naturally happening, I think. But if we don't have these teachings to introduce what it is, then we just miss that part. Once we have this teaching and now we know what's going on, then we can build on this more, can extend our meditation longer and longer.
A more purposeful practice.
Yeah, exactly. And you are 100% right that maybe we can close eye, but we cannot close ears and nose and mouth and the pores of our skin. So it's rather than rejecting or accepting, it's just let it be. Yeah. So that's why it's open-eyed. What happened. It doesn't really matter. Maybe there's a lot of, I saw many human beings birds are flying, but yeah, if you just don't engage, it's just they're flying. There's an interesting story, but these stories sometimes maybe not related to our life, or maybe. Yeah. They say there's a yogi and a carpenter walking in the woods. And they look at a tree. That tree was a very nice tree. That one, yeah. And then carpenter thought, maybe I can cut this tree, and then when it's dry, this is a good tree, so I can go back in my factory or whatever, and I can make nice table and chair and other maybe salad bowl or something to sell to the market and make a lot of money. And so that chain of thoughts right there, if you don't have training, then it may never happen, but it's that plan is coming. But then yogi was present. One nice tree. So there's no kind of plan of what to do with that tree. So similarly, maybe a few of you look in this direction, but when we look this direction, it's kind of a scenery, but we can do disengage. It's just seeing here, like a picture. And so exactly that's what's happening. Sometimes, of course, it's difficult to resist that smell of chocolate cake or something. Maybe sometimes better to don't have these things near, but sometimes we can just distance ourselves to a little bit disengage in moment. Yeah.
I felt like my thoughts weren't racing at all, but then I just started somehow focusing on body sensations. Like the thoughts weren't going fast, but then I just felt like the warmth of my body or different like body sensations. So it wasn't just looking at mine. These other things started arising, but it wasn't thinking. Maybe it was thinking if I'm noticing that, but that's just what. When my mind got quiet, but then I was like I was still feeling connected to my body or getting information from my body.
It's definitely have a lot of power, because now either we naturally may come, but now we are sort of accepting this is the truth, this is the nature. And that's, I think, a combination of that belief and seeing that directly. It's very powerful. I think that gives us either spiritually kind of a blessing or just power of that seeing itself as a gift that, yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Experiences from our short try there.
I
Yeah.
started seeing the wind on my eyeballs. Like, yeah. I really like what you said. It's pretty profound about the tree analogy, because that goes to, letting the a-hole that's driving behind you, just a car behind me, too close, whatever. Or, a rude person or a kind person, just, that crosses your path or has a different belief than you. They're just a tree.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Sometimes a very simple thing, but sometimes annoying things. Maybe people take at you, or people yelling at you while driving. But
they're all going to be trees now.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Your tree. Bye bye tree. Yeah, it's so that's what I can share. I think maybe helpful for you.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Khenpo Yeshi. So in your practice, because there's so many meditation practices, when do you bring this practice in for yourself?
Usually it requires to sit and not bodies cannot sort of agitate or move. So that requires sort of sitting or lying down or at least here, because every movement also has some, deep down it has some, how neurologically or cognitively it's subtle actions going on. Is if you can relax as much as you can would be good, and then that sort of requires. But I still do whenever I have chance, either sitting in a car or sitting. I think difficult to do while you are driving because the whole movement and the friction and the noise and maybe focusing on and there's a lot of meditations that traditionally sort of train and then slowly build up. But this is quite advanced, but somehow my teacher usually teaches to everyone, and also in the teachings also mentioned that all sentient beings have same Buddha nature. There's no unsuitable vessels, means sentient beings who don't have vessels to hold these teachings. So because we have shared Buddha nature, yeah. So
you don't ever put music or any, yours is silence, your meditation is silence?
this particular,
Okay,
yeah.
but do you ever meditate with music?
We can.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yes, we can do. Yeah. We even have meditations that listening waterfalls,
Yeah.
burning fires,
Yeah.
and drummings, and all kind of raining sounds. We can do 5 elements or 4 elements, listening, touching, and so forth. It's, yes.
In this tradition, is this way of meditating, is this the single technique that you use? Is that what you were saying? There's not more advanced, techniques. Is this single approach that you just shared with us?
That my teacher used this, but I hardly see other teachers really. They teach, but they don't teach how to do it. That seems different. Everyone say, look at your mind, kind of non-conceptually, but then how is very important. So I got this teaching. I think this is powerful, and this is one that I use. But that doesn't necessarily mean there's no others.
Sure.
And do you bring more, like that one direction of looking at the back of your head? I found that very powerful.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
bring
almost
other
automatically
little markers
stops.
like that? Does this practice have other markers like that and other directions like that? Or is that sort of the...
I never heard any other.
That was very powerful.
Yeah, that's very powerful. When I say that, I think one is my English and one is people think something else. Is that metaphor or that's what it is? It's not a metaphor. It's you need to do that. it's literal meaning, but yeah, sometimes people.
Well, it kind of collapsed. You can't make sense of that, so it sort of collapsed the thought about it, and you just sort of, okay, you know.
Mm.
So it was kind of a, yeah, it was, I thought
Yeah.
that was very helpful.
Yeah, usually maybe even long-term practitioners like us, sometimes it's difficult to get these kind of teachings because sometimes we difficult to find teachers that train in this particular tradition, and then teachers who are willing to share is sometimes a little bit difficult, but we see it's, maybe there's more we can find out there to teachers, but somehow this is helpful for me, and that's why I'm sharing with you, because you can learn mindfulness and other meditations and visualizations and all these things you can learn kind of widely available.
Is there
Yes.
a technique that you use to help keep your practice going while you're? Is it a similar technique you would use while in action, while walking down the street or walking in a grocery store, or do you have kind of like techniques you like to use to bring this type of meditative awareness, or keep your hand on the practice, so to speak, throughout the day? Or is it this technique itself? Do you find yourself trying to turn that awareness back on itself throughout the day, or are there other things you use during the day that you like in terms of keeping it going while you're outside of a formal sitting?
This is, of course, Buddhist tradition is religious tradition. It's packed with spirituality and belief system. If we have that, then we can practice based on that. That there's in the religious tradition introduce a lot of things that you can think about, and a particularly Buddhist way of thinking is already your mind nature is Buddha nature, or your mind nature is the nature of all. Then even you want to look at that, even you're believing that, is your thoughts is put on that is considered as meditation, because you are not planning to how much that would cost and how much this costs, and I don't want to buy this, I don't want to buy this. These are thoughts that some are meaningful, but most are not meaningful. And thinking, or then a religious way of thinking, is a devotion in this your own nature and so forth. It believe that it will helps, because that the compassion and sort of believing that sort of open your mind. Is that count as practice in the meditation?
So can you get to a point where you are constantly in, I'm going to call it the zone,
Mm-hmm.
throughout your life? Because that's what I've been hearing from other teachers, spiritual teachers, is that you can get to a nirvana point in your life to where your life is that, and you function in society with that mentality. Because to me, I feel like we kind of go back and forth. You go back with your mind, and then you go back to, your spirituality practices, and then you go back to your mind, because you're interacting with society. But there's supposed to be a way that you interact with society with your spiritual mind. That is fabulous.
Yet, in totally stop engaging this world is almost impossible. Until we die, we need to eat, we need to sleep,
Right.
we need to probably talk to people.
Yeah.
If we get sick,
Yeah.
we need to go to hospital.
Yes.
Even we cannot
Right.
walk, but someone will
Right.
take care of
Yes.
us.
Yes. Yes.
Even we don't want to
Yes.
take medicines.
Yes.
Or
So from your perspective, no, you need to interact, and you need to have you balance.
it would, if we have choice, we don't interact at all. It's bad choice, but that luxury we don't have.
Correct.
So we can do our best to how we interact to others. So in order to do that, we want to do as society teach us, or we can, there's a method that maybe is less intensified and less reactive. We are talking about these highway drivings, and someone's a kind of zigzagging and tailgating, and those. If you want to be less
Bothered.
bothered, we can
by
do
what
that.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
It's not only that, then we can imply the whole entire our life, what is bothering us.
Well, you just don't let it bother you. You just have to make the decision that life is the way life comes, and you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, which they really aren't any good or a bad day, they're a day.
Yeah.
And you're interpreting that, and your interpretation is not of any consequence. Your interpretation is meaningless. It's meaningless.
The carpenter, yeah?
That's exactly right. We have a tree.
Yeah.
That's what you interpret it does not mean a thing. You look at the tree for what the tree is and quit being bothered that it's a tree.
Yeah. And first
Look
of
at the
all,
beauty of the tree.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful tree, and whether it has a thorn on it or whatever, don't touch the thorn. But it's still a beautiful tree.
yeah.
And if you do touch it, go out and
Oh.
okay, great, be thankful you got a feeling. Wow, I can feel, But it's weird how it's hard to just go, but it's just a tree,
Of course, that's what we.
And our
We're
emotions
sort of programmed in
our
such a way,
senses
yeah.
and our thing, everything tells us, no, ruffle your feathers. And it's like, well, no, I really don't need to ruffle my feathers. It's gonna be fine. I'm fine. I'm breathing, I'm fine.
Yeah, and also sometimes these not necessarily disengaging is more pleasant because it's just pleasant and pleasure and something gives immediately reaction that has consequences,
The consequences are learning, that's for learning and growth. You learn.
Yeah, then you stopped, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually. But we cannot just ignore everything. Somehow we need to learn how to disengage.
Yeah. He does not like that, but he does not like that.
Yeah.
Learn how to disengage.
Yeah. Because we have feelings, and then feelings are not just cannot ignore, like baby is hungry or something.
Yes.
Feeling, then need to have reaction. So thank you for sharing your thoughts. Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. I came here to seek wisdom from you and from everyone else. And yeah, it's just, I think we're all on our spiritual journey, and that's why we're here. And thank you very much. Very honored to be in your presence. And always, it's a beautiful journey. We are very blessed to be here as individuals experiencing this reality, but learning to navigate it without putting our own personal spin on it is a feat and is a challenge, but it can be overcome. There's plenty of masters who've overcome it, so don't give up.
Exactly. And I originally come from Tibet, Himalayan mountains, so.
You do come from Tibet?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I didn't listed that I'm snowman.
Everyone's coming to see the snowman tonight.
Say that again.
Khenpo said that everyone's coming to see the snowman
Oh,
tonight.
okay. But you were saying you were in Chicago.
No, I go to Chicago to teach.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking you came over here and you were like settled in Chicago now or something.
No.
Oh, wow.
All my life is kind of journey, not really set, sort of anyway.
Okay.
But do you remember the advertisement say yogi?
That's the meaning of yogi?
Yeah, wandering around.
Wandering around. All right. Got it. That's exciting though.
Yeah.
How old were you when you took this path? How old were you when you decided to take this path?
Sorry, I couldn't.
How old were you when you decided to take this path?
Oh, okay. Yes, I mean, I grew up in Tibet, born in Tibet and grew up in Tibet when I was under 13 years old. It's totally communist rule, under Chinese communist rule. So we don't have any spiritual activities or practice or any. I never saw any Tibetans dharmas or dharma objects or religious figures or anything, because they don't allow to wear robes and don't do any dharma activities. First I met my teacher, and I think I was 13 years old, and that time Chinese communist government sort of released a little bit or allowed to some type of little bit Tibetans to practice or do rituals or do some public events that related with the Dharma. So since then I'm very engaged, or I was very interested in, even don't know this particular type of practice, but I was spiritually, I think I was very interested in. And then I crossed Himalayan mountain when I was 20 years old, and then I live in India and Nepal, and I practice and learn guidance under guidance of various teachers. But then I think I was 23 or 4. I went to a 3-year retreat, and guidance of my this particular lineage teacher, who teach us or me that how to look at your mind. So that's probably I was 23 or something. So
Did you
it's
say 3-year retreat?
yes, I did 3 years. Yeah.
So it's solitary.
Yes. At that time, my hair grows. Yes. But yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's that long. Yes.
Oh, I was just laying
Hi.
on
Hello.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for
What I can.
allowing us to sharing thoughts here. And we are trying to finishing here. I guess, the event. I don't know how long.
Should we, you want to look at the nature of mind another minute with Tom?
Yeah, maybe that's good.
Yeah, look at mind nature again for a minute and then dedicate. Thomas is Claudia's husband. And he just arrived.
Thomas or Thomas?
Thomas.
Thomas. Thank you so much, Thomas. And I just share one particular type of meditation technique. And that's based on believing, or at least we human beings have a nature. That nature is nature of everything. That nature is truth. And that would be our mind nature. It's not just totally blank, but it would have some sort of cognitive, sometimes we call wisdom or whatever we want to call. And its own nature is less any conceptual proliferations that often we think about subject-object duality and interaction with the world and self and outer and inner and so forth. If we want to reduce that, and we need to look at the very source of our concept. And then the concept is sort of imputed almost based on nothing. And if until we trace that back to the nature, we cannot stop things, our problem, mainly any kind of problem. And that's why we need to look at our mind nature, and once we recognize, then thoughts and concept, plans, and all mental proliferations will subside or stops. So that's why we sort of did meditation that do that, and then these particular methods of looking at our mind, of course, it's not thinking, it's looking. The thinking is different. And when we look inwardly, we would see our mind nature, but we need a method to look at. So my teacher teach me that we need to look, can anyone say, our two eyeballs are look at back of the head, yeah. That if still anyone has doubt that what is that, or anyone wanted to clarify in elegantly in English, could you do that?
Turn the light of your awareness back on itself. Turn the light of your awareness back on itself.
Yeah, not only that, physically, your two eyeballs are
physically looking back at the
Yeah.
back of your head.
Yeah. Don't need to see your back of your head. It's nothing to do with what's seen by your eyeballs. But that is how to
For your focus.
focus, turn inwardly.
So it's not like looking from outside yourself, like your body looking, like being outside your body and looking down, like from up. It's like looking back through your eyes, or focusing, your eyes are open, looking, but what you're seeing is back here.
Not seeing. It's just looking. It's,
Looking.
your eyes not seeing anything. You are still maybe see appearances, but you are not engaging with that. But your eyes just trying to look at the back, but not purpose of seeing your back. It's
Placing
just-
awareness.
Just how you turn your focus inward. Yeah.
This teacher's method for stopping.
And that turns your mind sort of inward if you do that. So we do that, okay? And body needs to relax, whatever comes for you. And the best thing is you can straight your back bones. And then if you're comfortable, open eye. Okay? Open mouth, because the breathe is much gentler when you open mouth. If you breathe through nostrils, then it's tightened. So we mainly need to relax your body. Don't pay attention to anything. It's not you're focusing on anything. It's just let it go. Any expectations? Any judgments? Even don't analyze what the moment is. Meditation, don't just trying to extend. You need to repeat, looking inwardly, constantly. It's not how long you can do it, but it's more how really you can look at your mind.
I'll have to practice.
Yeah.
A lot.
But that doesn't mean you do only one time and then you do
Absolutely,
it.
no, absolutely, no. I gotta practice just that, just, yeah. The idea of looking
Yeah.
behind, I gotta get that down.
Yeah, it's itself there.
Yeah,
Many things. We don't need too many things. You know.
but relax,
Yeah.
there's a big, relax, and
Yes.
try not to think too hard about it.
Yeah, it opens our channels. If you think about our chakras, bindus, and the nandis, and then we have, after that maybe you can do music and or dance and singing and whatever is more enjoyable maybe. So that is our today's hearing, and then tomorrow, I don't know, we can, maybe we can say later.
So Thursday we'll have the event at the pyramid, get to meditate with Khenpo at the pyramid, the Samadhi pyramid retreat now, right? So please join us in San Marcos if you're available. I'm really excited to have that experience, to focus spiritual energy and to do this looking in the pyramid. So that'll be Thursday, same time, and snacks again, 6:30. I'm doing something, you're all welcome to come. It's at my home Wednesday. You may have seen it on some of the promo material. So that's also another possibility to come hang out with us. There'll be music there, and food and some meditation. I'll do some sound healing. I do sound healing, and we'll have some live musicians. So that's Wednesday. And Thursday at the Pyramid. Thank you. Thank you so much, Claudia and Thomas. Thank you for hosting us. This is a gorgeous place to receive these teachings. Thank you.
And then Buddhist tradition, we always have open in the middle and the end, and we have meditations, we call. We are practicing not only ourselves, but our practice in benefit the beings and beyond, and so sort of dedicate to them, and whatever problems in this world or beyond can resolve and benefit and peace and so forth, so you can pray for that. And I have verse chantings that maybe someone can follow, but some maybe not, but that's how we do it. Ye